Hello and welcome back to my channel, Stitch It with Rachel. My name is Rachel and this is Knitting Podcast episode number 7. I have some really fun things to talk about today, super excited about, and it hasn't been like 3 months since I've seen you. It's only been like a month and a half, so we're doing pretty good. So grab something to stitch on, grab a beverage, get cozy, and let's get talking about the knitting. So I have 2 finished objects. I have 2 new whips, and then we're going to talk about socks. I'm bringing some socks back from the graveyard, and then I only have 2 acquisitions. I've done really well, and yeah, let's just get into it. Real quick, what I'm wearing, this is not new. This is my swing tank. It's a tank top pattern I am designing and working on. I think I wore it for the last episode too. It's a little too warm to be wearing wool sweaters, so this has been really great. I talked all about the details and stuff in the last video, so I won't go into details on that, and I'm still working on the pattern. So first finished object is so exciting. It's about damn time that I finished my Cargill sweater. She is done. She is beautiful. She is perfect. I am so excited to have this off the needles. It is way too hot to be wearing this in July, so I'm going to post some pictures that I took. We had a little bit of a cooler day, and so I'll post them up there, but she's finally done, off the needles and ready to go when the weather gets cool. I love this sweater. So I knit, this is the Cargill by the Crea Bea, or Rebecca Clow. Really love her as a designer. Really enjoyed this pattern. It uses a DK weight yarn. I chose to use Drops Daisy. It was my first time using Drops Daisy. Super soft, wearable next to skin, but I have a feeling it's definitely going to be very pilly. So we'll see how it wears once fall and winter kind of come around, but I don't have super high hopes about that. But hopefully with a gleaner and a shaver and stuff, she can have a nice long life in my closet. Needle size, I used 4mm needles, which I believe is what's recommended in the pattern. And other than that, the only modifications I made was I did half twisted rib on all of the finishing. So on the cuffs, the neckline, and the hem. I feel like especially on the neckline, it just makes it look so like polished. I don't know, I just really love half twisted rib. And I feel like with the texture of this, it just, I don't know, made it a little classier, even nicer. The colorway of the yarn, I don't remember. I think it's like colorway 10 or something like that, but all the details are on my Ravelry page, so I'll have it in there. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's finally done. So after like, I think it's been on my needles for 9 months. 9 months. So I'm sure you guys are gonna be thrilled to stop hearing me talk about it. And yeah, she's done and I love it, and I can't wait to be able to wear it. I don't have any Crea Bea sweaters planned like immediately, but like I have a couple of her other patterns in my library and I really want to cast them on. Of course, so many things to knit, so little time. So I'll figure out what's coming next. She also has 2 patterns coming out this fall winter that I really want. A cable one and this really fun colorwork one. So maybe I'll wait and buy one of those when they come out and then knit up one of those this fall or winter. That would be really fun. So the Cargill is finally done. She'll be put to rest in the closet until the weather becomes appropriate. And one thing off my needles means another thing on my needles. So I also need to decide what garment I'm gonna cast on next. So I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end. So Cargill is done. The second finished object I have is just a pair of socks. My opal socks are done. So cute and fun. This was my first time using opal yarn. I got this at the D-Stash sale at one of my local yarn stores. And I knit these toe up with a Fleegle heel. This is my first time ever doing a Fleegle heel. And I really liked it. I like it because I can knit it on my mini circulars. I hate magic loop. I'm not a magic loop girly. I use it when I absolutely have to for like toes and heels on socks if I'm doing like a forethought heel. But I do not enjoy it. And so I wanted to try a heel pattern that I could do on my mini circulars. The Fleegle heel is one of those, and it turned out great. It fits pretty similarly to a heel flap and gusset sock. Like, it's got that good fit. but it's like way less fussy. So I highly recommend giving it a try. The pattern for the Fleegle Heel that I used was from Summer Lee's The Sock Project book. Just 5 vanilla sock patterns at the beginning of the book. The last one was the toe up Fleegle Heel. The only thing I followed was the Fleegle Heel itself. The rest of it I just did on my own. And I did initially, these were supposed to be anatomical toe up Fleegle Heel socks. And I did the toe up on the first sock. It was the 3rd or the 4th attempt. I finally got like the right increase rate, shaping, whatever for this, like my foot and what I wanted it to look and feel like. And I typed that stuff up in my Ravelry, whatever, and then moving right along, knit the sock, blah, blah, blah. I go back to knit and start the second sock. I never saved my notes. I never saved my updated notes. So the first notes from the first toe that I made that was terrible and didn't fit was in there, but the new notes were not. And I just knit without thinking. I always thought I had saved my previous notes, so I knit the bad toe without realizing it, knit the whole foot of the sock, got ready to do the heel, compared it to the other sock, and I was like, those don't look the same. So I had to rip out from here all the way down and start over. I could not remember what I did at all. Could not remember. So I just did like a normal toe up start. So one sock is anatomical and the other is not. They fit just fine. I will come back to figuring out that toe up anatomical shape another time when I have like the mental energy to like reinvent that. Not invent, but come back to it and fuss with it. So other than that, really enjoyed them. I did 2x2 ribbing. I almost always do 2x2 ribbing on socks. I think it just looks better than 1x1. And for my stretchy bind off, I don't know what it's called, but you knit 2 and then you put them back on the left needle and then you knit 2 together through the back loop. And then you knit 1 and then you have 2 stitches on your right needle, put it back on the left, knit them through the back loop. So whatever that stretchy bind off is called, I don't know the name for it. The video I watched didn't have a name for it. And I really like it. This is my first time doing that bind off, and I did it with a crochet hook because trying to do it with the needle, with the little mini circulars, was not fun. Like I tried and it was a hot mess. I'm like, I have crochet hooks. Like why am I fussing so hard? So I used a 2.5mm crochet hook, which is just a little like quarter step up because I used 2.25 needles for my socks. And that worked really well. That was super quick and easy. It gives it a super stretchy bind off, but it's not too like wobbly. Some of those stretchy bind offs for toe up socks make it really kind of like flare, and I just don't like how that looks. And these are pretty good. I'm really pleased with how they came out. So those are my toe up Fleegle Heel opal socks. Super fun, excited to add them to my sock stash. And yeah, that's really all I have to say about them. So those are my 2 finished objects. Moving right along into whips. Let's talk about my step-by-step cardigan first. I've made a ton of progress on it. So, of course, one of these doesn't have a stitch marker. Let's hope I don't lose any stitches. I've made so much progress, guys. I am basically done with the body, and I have started the ribbing. So I think last episode I had started on the body, but maybe like an inch or something, or maybe 2, not a ton. So I've knit a lot. And I think I made it to, the pattern calls for 20 centimeters from underarm to before you start the ribbing. And I think I had like 30 or 34 centimeters, quite a bit more. I didn't realize how cropped the cardigan really was in the pattern. So mildly concerned about yarn chicken because I used up quite a bit of yarn adding that much length. That's an extra, 12 to 14 centimeters. So hopefully that doesn't become an issue later on. If it does, hopefully I can find the same dye lot. We'll see. That's future Rachel's problem. So, but yeah, basically finished with the body. I've started on the ribbing. I'm only like 4 rows in, but it's just a 1x1 rib, dropped down a needle size like the pattern recommended. I forgot to mention this is the Step-by-Step Cardigan by Florence Miller. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. She also has a entire like full tutorial YouTube video to go with it. So if you're a beginner, like I highly recommend this pattern. Very simple, super quick 5.5 millimeter needles and like a worsted Aran weight yarn. Like it's just absolutely flying off the needles. I feel like I could have easily like, if I had a true like an entire week off with nothing to do and my hands didn't hurt from knitting too much, I feel like I could have finished this in a week. Like it's definitely like a super quick knit. The yarn I'm using is Drops Nepal in the color 8907. I think it's called, like the color name I think is called Fog. Super pretty. It's kind of got this like, it's not marling, but there's just these little hints of other colors, and it just gives like, there's little bits of purpley shades, a little bit of brighter turquoisey shades, and some of it looks a little bit more gray. Like it just has some nice like variation in it. I don't know if it's really showing up on camera, but super pleased with this. I think I'm gonna try to finish the ribbing today. I'm either gonna work on this or I'm gonna work on some socks, or maybe a little bit of both. So yeah, after the ribbing is done on the bottom, I think I'm gonna pick up the double knit button band before doing the sleeves. I haven't done a double knit button band before. And so I'm really looking forward to trying a new technique. I have a double knit scarf that I really want to do this fall winter as a Christmas gift for my mother. So this will be a good little like intro with just using one color. And yeah, I read through the pattern on that part and it doesn't seem too difficult. Like it's very repetitive and it's just like the joining like to the main button band, but you've already picked up those stitches. So as long as your pickup rate is good, then you won't have any weird like puckering and stuff. It doesn't look like it's gonna be too hard, and I'm excited to learn something new. And I'm really excited how quickly this has gone on and soon to be off my needles, because then that means it frees up more space for another new garment cast on. So really pleased with this. It's been the perfect stockinette mindless knit. It's been exactly what I've needed, so it's been super easy to just pick up and work on. I also have really been enjoying the bigger needles. I've been trying to focus on socks. We'll get to that in a minute, because my socks have gotten out of control. I had like 6 or 7 sock projects going, all of them either one lonely finished sock or like half finished, and I was like, okay, we go to like sock boot camp. Like we gotta clean this up a little bit. I like to have like 2 to 3 socks at a time. That's pretty comfortable for me, but things have gotten a lot out of control. So that's something I'm gonna be working on, and I have been working on, but it's nice to have something bigger to work on, because sometimes those little tiny needles, like they don't bother me. I don't get hand cramps, but I can't knit on them for like 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? Like I definitely need like a break or something a little different. So that's that. I think I covered everything. If I didn't mention, the Step-by-Step Cardigan is knit on 5.5 millimeter needles. For the ribbing, I've dropped down a needle size as instructed in the pattern to 4.5. I'm pretty much following the pattern exactly. I don't think I've made any modifications, or if I have, they weren't intentional. So, all right, moving on. We're gonna start with exciting like new cast on whips. No, we're gonna do the tank top because there's not much to say. So swing tank top, I've been working on the second sample and I kind of stalled a bit. I don't think I've done a whole lot since last, like I might have done maybe 5 rows. Like I barely touched it. I don't know why, like I want this second sample. This is knit in Drops Bell. I really want to like see how the yarn blocks and wears. I really like the pink color. I think it's gonna suit me, be super fun for summer. It's the weather for it. I'd love to be wearing it. So I really need to get a move on and like finish this. I don't know why I haven't. So, well, I kind of know why I haven't actually. I take that back. I know that I want to make modifications, but I've already knit those parts that I've now decided I want those modifications. And so I need to knit a 3rd sample to like really fine tune. But I'm like, I'm only this far. Do I just rip out and do that now? Or like, I don't know. I'm kind of waffling on it because of that, but like, I don't want to rip it out. It's a perfectly good tank top. Like there's little tweaks I'd like to make, but like there's nothing wrong with it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm waffling for no real good reason, but I still like it. I still want it. I still need to work on it. So maybe I will bring this into rotation, especially once my cardigan is off the needles. Maybe what I'll do is I'll tell myself, we'll see how this works. I can't cast on another garment like sweater cardigan until I finish my tank top, because this really won't take long if I just sit down and do it. And I'm thinking about making this version a little more cropped than the one I'm wearing. This one is very long and A-line, which is exactly what I wanted, but not everyone likes long. A lot of people like crop, looks really cute on them. And I think similarly, still having that kind of like flared A-line shape cropped to go with skirts would be really cute. And so I've been thinking about doing this sample cropped, even though it's not my normal style. I would wear a cropped one with a high-waisted like skirt, and I think that would be cute in the summer. Like this with like a little white tiered roughly kind of linen cottony skirt, I think would be super cute. So maybe I'll make it cropped and then it'll get done even faster. And then for my third sample, I think I want to try either, this is like I said, drop spell, which is cotton, linen, and viscose. This one is 100% viscose from Bamboo, from line brand Trueboo. And I think for my third sample, I want a little bit nicer yarn. So I think I want to do either knitting for olive silk held double, because I'm using this as a DK weight pattern, or their cotton merino held double, because it's 70% cotton, 30% wool. And so that I think would still be very wearable for me in the summer. But then also I wear tank tops all year round. Like I'll wear a tank top with a cardigan over it. So like if I knit this pattern in that cotton merino, I could wear my step-by-step cardigan over top in the winter. Like it could be a full all 4-season garment for me. But I feel like with the silk I could wear all year round too, especially if I have like a wool cardigan over top. That's super cozy, looks really nice. So I'll either do the knitting for olive silk or cotton merino for that third sample. I just haven't decided yet. But so making slow progress, but making progress. And moving on, we're gonna talk about, I only have 2 other active whips, and then we're gonna get into the socks that I've pulled from the graveyard. So, and both of these next active whips are new cast-ons. So one of them, which has been so much fun, is a shawl that I've cast on. This is the Richland shawl by D. O'Keefe. It's really hard to kind of see the lace. It really needs to get blocked out, but I've made it to chart 5, and then you basically repeat chart 5 like a million times until it's the size you want, and then you do like maybe a few more to like maybe a 6, 7, 8 or something to then come back down. This has been so much fun. I found out I really am a shawl girly. I love a shawl. I love the lace work charts. I don't mind knitting flat. I find shawls very wearable, shawls and scarves. Like I do wear accessory knits. So not only is it fun and super enjoyable, but I think I'll get a lot more wear out of it than I do some of my sweaters and stuff. So really enjoying this. The yarn is Trilogy yarns. So my local yarn store, I really can't talk today, guys. I'm so sorry. My local yarn store owner is also the owner of Trilogy Yarns. And so I wanted kind of something special, a little spendy. I also bought this like right around the time I was graduating. So a little treat yourself graduation present. So I bought 4 skeins. She also had a sale. So that was a big part of it too. It was 20% off of the Trilogy Yarns Silky Yak. So it's 80% merino, 10% silk, 10% yak. And it is so soft, so incredibly soft. The color is in aqua, which is it's my color. It's got my name written all over it. And it's so pretty. Love it. The yak yarns, because yak has like a gray tinge to it, so it kind of like mutes the colors a little bit. But I think it's really pretty for this. And I think it's gonna be really nice to kind of have like a luxury fiber accessory to be able to wear. And this kind of shade for me, I'll be able to wear with so many things. I have a lot of like gray and black neutrals that I'll wear in the winter and then pop this on. This will also, I think, be beautiful in like spring and fall, just depending with what I've got wearing or like going on for the outfit, but like I'll get a ton of wear out of this. So this has been super, super fun. D. O'Keefe is a prolific shawl designer. This is my first D. O'Keefe pattern. So far, I'm loving it. Very detailed. It's fully written and charted. I prefer charts personally, but when I first started to learn how to read charts, I really liked when patterns had both, because as I was trying to learn the chart, I could like double check with the written to make sure like I read it correctly. And so I found that super helpful when I was learning to read knitting charts for lacework and stuff. So if you want to learn, I kind of recommend trying that. But they have both if you prefer one or the other. Very detailed, and yeah, loving it. I don't think I mentioned I am doing this as a knit along with my best friend Teresa. And so this has been super fun. We had a little like virtual cast on party because she lives on the other side of the country. So we had a little virtual cast on party together, and kind of been sending each other updates and stuff. And then when she comes and visits for Christmas, goal is that we'll both have these done. We could have a cute little photo shoot of us in our matching shawls. She also picked a gorgeous kind of like teal color. Mine's more green teal and hers is much more like a blue petrol kind of teal. So similar but different. And so that'll be super fun. So loving this. And it's interactive enough that you need a little bit of reading, but it's very repetitive and easy to read, like lace chart. So like doesn't need full brain power, but it's not stockinette. So it's like that perfect like in the middle, like it's a little something, but it's not like hard. So really enjoying that. My next new whip cast on, there's not much to it, is another sock. You're like, Rachel, why did you cast on another sock? That's a great question. So my local yarn store is doing a summer knit along, and it's the Mermaid Avenue socks by Summer Lee. And I love Summer Lee as a sock knitting designer. I have her first book. I have a whole bunch of other individual patterns. And I also am obsessed with like all things mermaid, like mermaid colors, mermaid themes, like if it's mermaid, I'm there. And so when they announced the like mermaid sock knit along, I was like, well, okay, I have to do that. So I went through my stash. Well, and first actually, I'll show you one of my acquisitions because it's what I was supposed to use for this. So Carrie, local yarn store owner, dyed up some yarn specifically for this. And it was a fade set, and it's so pretty. Oh, look at the fade. Oh, it's gorgeous. Again, my colors. So she dyed this up for the knit along, and I was going to use these, and then it was like the night before. July 1st was cast on party at the store, and it's July 4th, so that's actually a couple days ago. And I just was reading the pattern, and like the fade instructions were just a little too like fussy. I was just like not in the mood for like a fussy sock. I have so many other socks on the needles. If I was gonna add another, I needed it to be relatively simple. And with it being textured, it's an easy stitch pattern, it's an easy repeat, but still, like, it's not just vanilla. Like, I didn't want to fuss with anything extra. So I had bought these, but then I was like, we'll save these for something else. I don't know what yet. And I looked through my stash, and I had this gorgeous yarn, which I caked up, and the colorway is Mermaid. So, I mean, it was meant to be. And this is by Sweet Tea Yarns by Molly Klein Design. And I got this when she did a trunk show at one of my other local yarn stores. So I've just cast on the cuff, so nothing too exciting, but I did do a modification to the pattern already. No surprise there. So let me see, make sure you can kind of like, so if you see the edge, let me make sure that this will like focus. So I don't know how well you can see, come on, focus. The top edge of this sock, how the stitches are kind of going sideways. And so what I did was I did a German twisted cast on, which is a really nice stretchy cast on. And then that first round, I knit every stitch through the back loop. And I kind of did this little like side braid kind of look. Kind of reminds me of like a Latvian braid, like on mittens. Like it's not, but it's that like sideways little like texture kind of thing. And my yarn store owner who was there at the cast on party, this is what she did for her socks. I was like, oh my God, that looks so pretty. What'd you do? Like, that's not part of the pattern. And she told me, and so I copied her because I just thought it was so fun. And I think it looks so nice, and it's still stretchy. So I think I might start doing this on a lot of my socks. I just think it looks really nice and fun. So love how it's working up so far. I'm almost done with the cuff, or I am done with the cuff, and I'm ready to start the stitch pattern. And so I'll be starting that at some point this weekend, probably. Trying to get a move on. The knit along is lasting for like a month. And I think if you finish within the end of the month, you know, get put into like a grand prize drawing kind of thing and all that fun stuff. So I'd kind of like to finish these, but like I have so many other socks and needles too that it's kind of like trying to figure out what to put my attention towards. So that is my other new cast on. So now all the other whips that I have are socks. And so we're going to talk about my sock problem. And so I have 2, 3, oh, there's a third. Hold on. Okay, sock acquired. I was like, we're missing something. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 socks on the needles, 3 of which have been previously abandoned. There were 6, but I just finished the opal socks. So there's 2 that I have not touched in a year. And so I want to bring them out. I want to finish them, get them off my needles, get my sock count back down to like 2, 3. So this is like sock boot camp. I really want to focus on for like July and August, like for the summer. I really want to focus on finishing my socks. So I think we'll start with the oldest one. And it's so cute. I love it. Like, why have I not finished the second sock? These are my little dot socks by Summer Lee. Sorry, it's been shoved in this bag, so it's a little crinkled, a little crumpled, but they are so freaking cute. Like, I'm obsessed. These are adorable. These are gonna be so cute in the fall, like sticking out of like a little pair of boots, and then like with my shawl, adorable. So I need to finish these. I love them. They're adorable. It was a very easy pattern. You know, the stitch repeat is so simple. It's just, you know, and it's the same. You don't have any long floats. Like, it's just super easy colorwork sock. This was my this was my second colorwork sock. And so maybe I did cast the other ones on first. Yeah. Anyways, I started them roughly at the same time, and they're both abandoned. So the yarn is from a local yarn store in Utah. I went on a road trip. I think I talked about this maybe in one of my first knitting podcasts. But did a road trip down to a local yarn store in Utah that's supposed to be the oldest yarn store like in the country. I don't even remember the name of it. And it's in like Provost, Utah, something like that. Anyways, and it was sorely disappointing. Like, so disappointing. Would never go back. But I was determined to find something fun there, and I did. They have in-house hand-dyed yarn, sock yarn. They had a really small selection, but they had some, and so I picked out 2 like fun contrasting colors to do a colorwork sock with. And so that's what this sock yarn is, and it was kettle dyed, so you can see kind of like the variation, especially like in this little circle here, like really dark ochre and then like a brighter yellow, and the teal has some of that variation too, and I really like that in a sock yarn. So it has some like depth, but it's still like all the same, and I really like that vibe. So this does not have the second sock cast on, but it's all in a bag, one of the project bags that I sewed, and I want this done and off my needles this summer. So that is sock abandoned project number 1 that's being brought back from the grave. Sock number 2 being brought back from the grave, that again has 1 sock done. The other one was never cast on. And they're so cute. Oh my God. These are the Shrimply the Best Socks by Summer Lee. Look how cute it is. Come on. I still need to put the little eyes in for the shrimp. I just haven't done that. But I mean, this sock is freaking adorable. Like, come on. Like, why have I not finished the other sock? Like, I could have been wearing these all this time. So this is helical knitting, which is that little 1x1 stripe, but you don't get any jogs anywhere with the way that you do helical knitting. And this was my first time doing it in this sock and really love it. I made lots of modifications. So this is a cuff down pattern with a heel flap and gusset. And I did this toe up with the, I believe, a Fish Lips Kiss heel. So, and of course, previous Rachel didn't write notes. So I believe it was a Fish Lips Kiss heel because it's what it looks like. And I do that, I think I did that more than before I learned German short row. So, I mean, and they're very similar. So yeah, adorable. Just a little color work portion. And my color work here is definitely wonky. Like you can tell it's like, we got like some weird stitches. I was definitely still struggling to figure out my color work tension here, but hopefully it'll block out. And if not, they'll still be cute and I'm still gonna wear them. But I think I was like so nervous of the color work being too tight to get over my foot that I went the opposite direction and just made it too loose. So tension on this one is really wonky, but you can tell in my polka dot socks that like my tension definitely got better. So need to cast this on, need to finish this because it's so freaking cute. They are shrimply the best. So sock from the grave number 2 that's being brought back. Sock number 3, which I have picked up and worked on. As soon as I finished my opal socks, I cast on the second sock finally for this one so I could get things finished. So this is already almost done. So the first sock is just a vanilla sock and some really fun mermaidy colors. I have the yarn in there to do a forethought heel, which I really need to do. Maybe I'll try to do that today or this weekend. And as soon as I, like literally the moment I cast off my opal socks, I went and got this bag and cast on the toe and got started on the second sock. So we're getting pretty close to doing putting the yarn in for the heel. So this could be finished potentially this week if I focus on it. And that would be one more sock project off my needles, which would be awesome. I'm obsessed with the color. It's just so fun and mermaid and like summery and I love it. The toe cuff color is a Knit Picks Stroll color. I don't know the colorway, maybe like patina or something like that. And then the fun variegated yarn was actually from Joann's Rip. They had started coming out with like hand-dyed sock yarn, like 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon sock yarn. And so I bought it and it was, I had like a 50%, I bought it, it was like $6 or something for the skein, which is a little wild. So I'm not sure if it was actually hand dyed because if it was, then I doubt they're getting paid what they should be, you know, but super cute. Love them. Super soft. Can't wait to wear them. And we're getting close to done. I definitely need to I think I'm going to pop in the heel on this almost finished sock before I get to the heel on this one. And then it'll be home stretch. Like they're so close to being done. And these are in this super cute sock bag that my grandma got for me with llamas on it. It's just adorable. And I really like this shape. Sorry, dog's going to get maybe a little barky here in a minute. Hank, no, sweetie, we're good. Thank you. Sorry, guys. So those are the 3 sock projects brought back from the grave. And hold me accountable because these need to be done by the end of summer. I want all 3 of those done by the end of the summer. I would love to have my 2 other sock projects also done. I already talked about the Mermaid Avenue socks. And then other socks were my, oh my God, I passed my registry exam socks, which I talked about last time. And I've made a good little bit of progress. I think I just had the cuff last time. So working up really well. The yarn's working up really pretty. Definitely getting a little like color pooling, but I don't dislike it. And this was graduation sock yarn from my friend Teresa. So these will be a really special pair of socks when I eventually finally get them finished. So those are all of my whips, guys. So 5 sock whips, 3 brought back from the grave, a shawl, cardigan, and tank top. So as much as I would love to cast on another garment since I finished the Cargill, I'm going to restrain myself, focus on what I have, do my summer knitting, and then we can go from there. So those are all of my whips. I've showed you one of my acquisitions already. I have one other acquisition. As a graduation present to myself, I signed up for Yarnable, which is a monthly yarn subscription box. And I love sock knitting so much that I wanted like one skein of sock yarn a month. How fun. Ideally, I would knit those pair of socks with that yarn every month. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. Once I get these off the needles and stuff, I think that'll be really fun. So this was the June colorway. It's Hypnotic Yarns is the yarn brand that runs the Yarnable subscription. And so this colorway was Cue the Confetti. So it looks like sprinkles. I would never have bought this yarn in a yarn store. At first, when I opened the package, I was a little, I don't want to say disappointed, but it was just a little like womp womp. I don't know. But it's grown on me the more I've looked at it. And I think actually it would make a super cute pair of socks if I did the cuff, heel, and toe all in different colors that actually like kind of match the like speckling on this. So like a pink one, a turquoise one, a yellow, a purple, a green, like they're all the colors of the rainbow are in here, orange. And so if I did the cuff, heel, toe, different colors and on each sock, so they kind of be like mismatched, funky, I think that could be super fun. So I'm thinking about doing that. And if I don't make those for myself, I think my grandma would love that. She loves a funky sock, and she loves the socks that I knit. They fit her really well. She wears them all the time. So maybe I'll do that for her and make those her Christmas socks this year. So that's been fun. I'm excited. I actually think my July Yarnable arrives today at some point. So that's exciting, but no casting on of new socks until we get these socks under control. So other than that, I do have some aspirational things I'd like to cast on. I'll talk about real briefly. Now that my Cargill is done, the next garment I would like to cast on, maybe by the end of summer, is the front porch sweater. I do not remember the designer's name, but it's an all over, very simple cabled jumper. Just very simple crew neck cable. And I have yet to knit a fully cabled garment. And so it's pretty simple, very cozy, very like everyday wearable. And I have yarn for it already in my stash that I bought. It's Drops, I believe it's Drops Flora. I believe it's Drops Flora. It's a DK weight yarn. So maybe that's the fingering weight. It's the Drops DK weight that is the wool alpaca blend. It's the baby version to the Drops Nepal, whichever that one is. So, and it's in a pretty kind of like green, bluish green color, not teal, definitely more green with like a hint of blue or something like that. Dusty green blue. Anyways, so I have the yarn, I have the pattern. It's been like, I think I bought it last winter. I've been wanting to cast this on. So that's really near the top of my list. I also really want to cast on the Limoncello cardigan by Kutifikika. I bought her book Knits to Wear, and it's this gorgeous cabled lace cardigan, and it's fluffy with mohair, and it's gorgeous. In the book it's yellow, which is very on trend for this summer, but I am not a yellow girl. Yellow does not look good to me. I do not love the color yellow. So I bought Knit Picks alpaca and in a DK weight, and then their Aloft mohair. I'm sensitive to mohair, but I heard that the Aloft mohair was really very soft. And also it's a V-neck cardigan, and it's meant to be a little oversized, and so mohair doesn't bother me too much on my arms. And so because it won't be around my neck or anything, I'm not worried about it, and it is very soft. So that's pink and fluffy and fun and cabled and lace and like really interactive. And so I also really want to cast that on. I have the yarn, I have the pattern, you know, I have all this stuff. So those are kind of warring for what garment I cast on next when I've accomplished some of this summer knitting. And then I also would love to finally cast on my first colorwork sweater. So no solid plans there. I'm doing a lot of like online late night shopping where I add it to my cart and then never purchase for both yarn and patterns. So hopefully come like fall, winter, I'll be a little more settled on an idea to either cast on at some point in the winter, or maybe that could be my like January cast on, like a January 1st cast on. So besides that, I talked about yarn and shawls that I want to make on the last episode. Those are still very much like in queue, but I'm going to try to just keep one shawl at a time. So once the Richland shawl is done, I'll grab one of those, either the Aisling or the, I don't remember what pattern I'd picked out for the other, or if I even had one. So those are my future plans, and we covered everything, I think. Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me that you enjoy sitting here listening to me talk about my knitting and being a part of the online fiber arts community. If you have subscribed, thank you so much for that. It means the world to me, and I hope you all have a lovely afternoon. Who knows what time of day you're watching this, but thanks so much for being here.